Hola clase. Okay, today we're first going to start off by talking about the verb gustar. Like you'll remember from Spanish 1, the verb gustar means to like. It's a little bit different in its conjugation. You'll see here that for the verb gustar and other verbs like gustar, you need to use them with an indirect object pronoun, me, te, le, nos, os, or les, and then you're going to decide whether to use the singular version or the plural version of the verb. Okay, so in the present tense, in order to say I like, you can say me gusta or me gustan. So when do you use me gusta as opposed to me gustan? Look down here at these bullet points. You're going to use the verb gusta when you're saying that someone likes to do an action. For example, I like to eat. Me gusta comer. You're also going to use gusta if you're talking about or saying that someone likes a singular noun. For example, me gusta el helado. I like ice cream. You're going to use gustan if you're saying that someone likes a plural verb. So here, I like cookies is me gustan las galletas. Okay, other things to remember, and I want to point out about the verb gustar, is that first up, subject pronouns are optional and they're used to add emphasis. So when you say I like, it's completely acceptable to say me gusta. If you want to add emphasis to that, you can say a mí me gusta. The a mí is optional. You'll notice with these subject pronouns, if you choose to put them in front, you're going to need the a before your subject. Okay? The reason for that is because it is matching the indirect object pronoun here. Okay? Another thing to remember, bullet point number 2, anytime you say you like a noun, I like chemistry, I like apples, I like the sunshine, whatever it may be, you have to include that definite article. Okay, that's el, la, los, or las, even if you don't hear it in English. So, for example, if you're saying I like pizza, in English we don't hear the pizza, but you have to have it in Spanish. You have to say me gusta la pizza. Okay? Make sure you filled out that whole section 1 on your note guide about the verb gustar. Alright, let's do a little bit of practice and see if we remember how to use gustar in the present tense. Okay, take a second here, pause me. Please work on these practice questions 1 through 6. Okay, let's review. On number 1, you like to watch TV. We have te gusta. 2, we like Spanish. Nos gusta. 3, Juan likes soft drinks. Soft drinks is plural, so we have le gustan. And 4, my friends like books. Books is plural, so you got to have les gustan. On the translations, I like sports. Remember, you don't hear the here in English, but you need it in Spanish. You should have me gustan los deportes. And 6, Ava likes to read. In number 6, I've stated the subject, Ava, so I have to have the a in front. A Eva le gusta leer. Okay, so the interesting and fun thing to remember about gustar is it's kind of a backwards verb. Let's look at number 6. When it says here, a Eva le gusta leer, we translate that in English as Ava likes to read. But this verb gustar literally means reading is pleasing to Eva. Okay, it's a backwards verb. That's why you need the indirect object pronoun and you need that a when you're using the subject. Okay, now you reviewed this in Spanish 3, but I do want you to know there are other verbs in Spanish that operate the same way as gustar. There's going to be 7 here that you need to know for chapter 3. Please write these down on your note guide. Faltar is to be lacking or to need something. 2, hacer falta, to be necessary. Quedar, to remain or have left. Parecer, to appear or seem. Encantar, to love. Pasar, to happen or occur. And importar, to be important or to matter. Okay, so remember, these verbs are going to be used just like gustar. That means they need an indirect object pronoun in front of them. And you're going to decide whether to use the he, she form or the they form. So here, on number 1, if I said like, I'm lacking a spoon, I need a spoon. Okay, you have to say, me falta una cuchara. Alright, let's practice with these a little bit, see if we can transfer over our Gustar skills to verbs that are like Gustar. Okay, directions. Use Gustar or another verb like Gustar to complete these sentences in the present tense. Okay, do note you can use these verbs in the preterite. You can use them in the imperfect, in the future conditional. Okay, and it's the same rule. You still need that indirect object pronoun, me, te, le, nosos, les, and then you use the he, she for the they form of the verb. Okay, so to keep it easy, we are going to use present tense, but I just want to remind you, yes, these verbs can be used in other tenses. All right, let's do number 1 together. We're trying to say, I like snow. Okay, your answer should be, me gusta. All right, please pause me and complete numbers 2 through 6. Okay, let's review. Number 2, they love to travel to tropical islands. Les encanta. 3, the weather isn't important to you. No te importa. 4, it appears to us that it's raining a lot. Nos parece. 5, I'm lacking my boots. I need some boots. Me faltan. It's faltan because boots is plural. And 6, she has 3 tickets left. Le quedan. Again, it's quedan because tickets or entradas are plural. Okay, we're now going to move on to the verbs ser versus estar. If you had anything that came up question-wise about Gustar, please jot it down under section 9 of your note guide. Okay, so ser versus estar. We're first going to talk about ser's conjugations. Please take a minute, pause me. Write down the conjugations for ser in the present tense, the preterite tense, and the imperfect. Okay. I'm going to have you skip section 6 for a second. We'll come back to it. Go to section 7 where we talk about usages. So, ser means to be, and so does estar. But their usages are completely different. Okay? So, when you use ser to say to be, you need to use it with this acronym doctor. So anytime you're describing something or someone, you need to use ser. If you're describing their occupation, like I am a teacher, you need to use ser. If you're describing a characteristic of someone or something, you need to use ser. If you're telling time or talking about the date or the day of the week, you need to use ser. If you're talking about the origin of something or someone, you need to use ser. And if you talk about the relationship between people or between an object and a person, you need to use ser. Also, besides the acronym doctor, do remember from Spanish 2 that the location of an event is ser. So if I say the concert is in the park, that is ser. Okay, so I've got some practice sentences here. I would like you to write these down under section 7. Okay, we'll do number 1 together, and then I would like you to try the others on your own. Okay, so I use ser when I'm describing people. My example sentence here is, the boys are tall. To say that in Spanish, you would say, los chicos son altos. Okay, please pause me and work on letters O through R. Remember, you need to use ser for all of these verbs, for all these sentences. Okay, let's review. Here, she is a teacher. Ella es una maestra. Number 3, I am funny and studious. Soy cómico y estudioso. Telling time. It's Tuesday and it's 9 o'clock. Es martes y son las 9. Origin. Here, they're from Indiana. Son de Indiana. In relationship, she's my friend. Ella es mi amiga. Okay, now let's go back up to section 6 and let's fill in the conjugations for estar. You know all of these. This is just simply a review. Please pause me. Go ahead and write these conjugations down. Okay, now let's talk about the usages of estar. Estar, the acronym for remembering when to use estar is place. Okay, you're going to use estar anytime you talk about someone's place or the location of something. You're going to use estar anytime you talk about an action. That's ing. So for example, I am talking, they are walking. You're going to use estar when you're talking about the condition of someone or something. Okay, so the chair is broken, that's a condition. Or I am sad, that's a condition. And then emotion kind of ties in with condition a little bit. Okay, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm nervous, etc. Besides the acronym place, you also need to use estar with past participles. Okay, remember past participles are ado and ido. Okay, it's when you take a verb. Let's do the verb. Well, we have cerrar here. Let's take the verb cerrar, to close. Remember, when you want to take a verb and make it into an adjective, if it's an AR verb, you drop the AR and you add ado. Okay? And if you have an ER or an IR verb, like the verb to serve, servir, and you want to say served, you drop the IR and add ido, servido. Okay? We'll talk more about past participles in class, but you're going to use estar with these past participles because many times they indicate conditions. Look at my example here. I closed the door, and now the door is closed. Cerré la puerta y ahora está cerrada. Okay, let's look at some example sentences with estar. Let's do number 1 together. We use estar anytime we're talking about the place or position of something. So I am seated at a table. You would say, estoy sentado en una mesa. All right, pause me and complete letters L through E. Okay, let's review. L, they are in the woods. That's their location. Están en el bosque. 3, action. It's snowing outside. That's an ing. That's inging. Inging always goes with the star. So you've got está nevando. 4, a condition. She's tired right now. So está cansada. Emotion, we are happy. Estamos felices, or you can say estamos contentos. Okay, so basically for ser versus estar, remember ser is more permanent. It describes how things typically are. It talks about their description, their characteristics. Estar, on the other hand, is temporary conditions. An adjective that doesn't normally associate itself with that person or object. Okay, I do need you to read in your conversación en repaso a little bit more about ser versus estar and when that changes meanings with different adjectives. Okay, so please make sure you're doing that on your calendar. It tells you that you need to read pages 69 through 71, so make sure you do that. Okay, we've got one more bit of practice to do before our video is over. Okay, the directions say here, complete these sentences with the correct form of ser or estar in the present tense. Okay, again, we're keeping it simple. We're just going to use present tense. We'll do number 1 together. I'm saying here, the snow is white. Okay, that's a characteristic generally associated with snow. When we think snow, we think white. So that is the verb ser. Your answer should be es. Okay, please pause me and complete numbers 2 through 6. Okay, let's review. Number 2, the stars are in the sky. That's their location. Use a star. Están. 3, my uncle is a meteorologist. That's his occupation. Use es. 4, today is November 3rd. I'm telling the time or the date. Es. 5, you're nervous because of the storm. Estás. That's your emotion. And lastly, we are from a tropical island. Talking about our origin, you need somos. Okay, do please take the time to go to your textbook Conversación y Repaso and read pages 67 through 71. Also, please take a moment, write down any questions that you may have. Okay, gracias. Adiós.